Hey guys, welcome to my channel. This is author time, I guess, and I've basically committed myself to documenting each major step along the way as far as getting a book written and out into the world, which I guess I really should have started back at the beginning, but oh well, I guess this is out of sequence. But in any case, the next major step that happened currently in this actual real life timeline is what just happened yesterday, which is, well, kind of 2 days ago, but that is where we left off, is that I had gotten an agent, and then I was waiting for my agent to get the time in her schedule to get back to me. So basically she had to read the whole book all over again and then take obscene amounts of notes, both within the manuscript itself. She had to mark up some things, make some changes and whatnot, just like minor changes, and then add suggestions in notes there, and then also write what's called the editorial letter, and that is like this giant letter that, well, we'll get to that. But the point is, I was waiting for that to occur because, as you can imagine, she has plenty of clients and she's already doing either that for one of her clients or she's working on the next stage for other clients, being out on submission, which we'll get to at some point, hopefully. So in any case, the stage that I was waiting for her to do for me was this editorial letter, and then after I receive the editorial letter, we have a call where we go through the letter and just get on the same page. But in any case, because she has plenty of other clients and she's doing all kinds of other things, I was just in limbo waiting. But I lucked out because it turns out that limbo, it just so happened that she was just about done with one of her other clients doing some other stuff. So I actually didn't have to wait that long at all. So I got the editorial letter from her. You know, the funny thing is, I don't like to take naps usually. I went through a huge phase where I used to like to take naps, but I was feeling really like exhausted this one day. So I dozed off, and when I woke up I had the email from her about the editorial letter, and I was like, this is exactly what I've been waiting for. And as I was reading through it, I got extremely overwhelmed. Because basically a lot of people have this magical idea about what writing a book is, which is you write your first draft, it's perfect, and you send it to a publisher and they publish it and it sells 1 billion copies. No. Basically the draft that I had sent her was probably draft 14 or something crazy like that. And now I'm very liberal with my numbering as far as drafts go. Like if I make one tiny change between, so for instance, I think I started sending this manuscript out at draft, well geez, at like draft 10 or something like that. Then I got some feedback from one agent that was like, oh, but did you think about this thing? That might be better. And I was like, yeah, but then I'd have to completely redo it. Basically, not completely, but in any case, I started a version 2, so that was draft 1 of version 2 after 10, and then I think I'm up to like draft 6 now of version 2. So, and now basically there's now version 3, but we'll get into that. So in any case, basically what I sent to her as far as it's concerned is draft 1, and then really when she and I fix all of that stuff, whatever we send to the editor at the publishing, as far as they're concerned, that's draft 1. So so it'll be like 20 drafts or something. But in any case, she had a ton of things to say. And the funny thing is, she prefaced the letter with saying, like, yeah, like we said in our call, there's not going to be much that needs to dramatically change or anything. So, you know, just some minor stuff. And then her minor stuff was like, what? This is major. Like, what do you mean? Like, I don't want to get too into the weeds about all the details about what they were, but one of the basic, one of the main things, first of all, I don't know if you're familiar with the call to action, but in a 3-act plot structure, the call to action is the thing that happens in the beginning of the book, usually there's like an exposition and then there's the call to action. And the call to action is the thing that propels the main character on their new, like they're living a status quo and then something happens that causes them to have to deviate from that status quo. And so like every single good story has a call to action that, you know, like in Hunger Games, we'll say it's when Katniss volunteers as tribute or whatever, or, you know, I've never actually seen Star Wars in a very, very long time, but it's, you know, when Luke's family gets blown up or something. I can't remember. I have not seen Star Wars, don't kill me. At least not for decades. But in any case, it's the thing that makes the character go, oh, well, okay, I guess my regular life is over, now I've got to go do this thing. And she was like, call to action doesn't happen until like page 20, and publishers want it to happen closer to page 10, so we gotta fix that. And I was like, I don't even know how though, it's just the way it's written, I don't even know how. Well, I eventually figured that out. And a really good point is that she's like, your main character's two best friends basically vanish midway, like after Act 1, they're not at all present during Act 2 basically, and then they only kind of resurface, but just slightly, at the end of Act 3. Like, if they're his best friends, shouldn't they be more present? And also the mom character is kind of integral to the role, at least the way it's pitched, but in actual, the way the story plays out, she kind of vanishes in the middle, so basically gone in all of Act 2. Like, she needs to be more present. So it wasn't, what I was hoping for were things like, in this first chapter, let's change this and rewrite it like this. Or, you know, in the final 3 chapters, it's not really working, so why don't we head more to this direction, so just redo those or something. But it was nothing like that. It wasn't anything major like that. Instead, it was minor stuff, but that minor stuff, it's like, geez, like I need a magnifying glass to really like get in there with tweezers to like pull out these little tiny parts and insert new tiny little parts. And so that's going to be way more tricky in my opinion than, like, if she had said, oh, the ending is terrible, let's do this instead. Well, easy. I'll just rewrite the ending, no problem. I know where the ending is, I can go straight to there and redo it. But this kind of stuff, like make the best friend characters and the mom character more present, is trickier, because it's like, I don't know where to put them in, and so anyways, that's where I'm at right now. But it's very exciting, and I'm very excited. And I mean, that's not all. There were like at least 10, in my opinion, major things that, like, you know, and I actually already took care of a couple of them. I did, like I said, figure out how to move the call to action. It's not at page 10, but it's not at page 20 anymore. It's now page 14. And stuff like that. And also I tidied up a thing at the end. There was like a tiny issue that she had with the end, and in my opinion, the way I had written it is better than what she was kind of suggesting, but we kind of met in the middle and came up with a funnier ending, basically, maybe. So that's good. My objective here is, if in my opinion it makes the book better or not worse than whatever she says, I'll just do. No questions asked. But if I feel like it somehow, if I feel like that I need to give some pushback, like if I'm like, ooh, I don't know about that. And that's how I was a little bit about the end, because she wanted the end to be a little more Hollywood, maybe is a way I would describe it. And I was like, no, I like that it's a little messy. That's more real in my opinion. And it's not gritty or anything, but it's just, I liked that it felt kind of organic and real to me. And I was actually really proud of my ending. But she wanted me to clean it up, streamline it, and make it a little more solidified. And I was like, but that's just not real life, and that's not how I want it. So we talked about it on the phone and arrived at a point where, well, one character can interpret it this way, and another character interprets it this other way, And because of this confusion, that's what causes the little bit of messiness. But as far as one character is concerned, anyways, you'll have to read the book eventually to see what I'm talking about, and then I can describe how I originally wrote it and then what she wanted me to write it as. But anyways, there's that, which I've already fixed, and there was another thing that I'm forgetting about that I already fixed. Oh, there was some inconsistencies due to major revisions that I did that I didn't follow through with in every instance that particular factoid would reoccur. And so that was a tricky situation. Basically, the main character is out, but not completely, or at least that's how I originally wrote it. He was basically out to his best female friend, and his, he wasn't technically out to his mom, but in any case, the point is, I did get some feedback from a previous agent a while back that was like, no, we're not doing coming out stories anymore. That's been done. It'd be best if your character was just 100% out. And so I was like, oh, well, okay, fine. So I rewrote it completely. That was the difference between version 1 and version 2. In version 1, his awakening, the way he figures out that he's gay, is basically ripped straight from my real life, which was this exact same scene of being at an audition, a guy winks at him, and the main character goes, oh, a guy is winking at me, and I like it. That's weird, but it's not weird. I like it. So anyways, that's how it really happened for me. So I wrote that into the book, but then I had an agent say like, no, we're done. The coming out thing has been done. We've moved on as an industry, so now we just expect that gay characters are already out. And so I had to rewrite that completely. But the problem is I accidentally left some DNA from that previous version in some cases that created some inconsistencies as far as, in the beginning he says he's already out, but then there are a couple weird places in the middle where he's like, well, since I'm not out to my mom, and it's like, oh, but he is, whoops. And so anyways, I had to go and fix those, things like that. Wow, this video is getting too long and you probably don't even care. So anyways, that's where I'm at right now, is that now that I've got her editorial letter and all of her notes in the manuscript, I've already gone ahead in one day and fixed all of the smaller things, all of the smaller notes where she's like, the sentence is kind of awkward, rewrite it, things like that. I've already done all of that, or some like inconsistency things like we just talked about. One inconsistency thing about a character's ethnicity, which was when I wrote it, I didn't really specify, but it probably defaulted to white probably in the reader's mind. But then eventually I was like, why does this particular character have to be white? There's no reason for that. So then he became Hispanic, but then I forgot about that in fixing a later iteration of that Anyways, the point is, I fixed all that. Now I'm working on the big picture stuff, which is exciting and extremely overwhelming, especially considering a couple of the big picture things, which I won't go into because they're very plot specific, and I just want you to read the book someday, hopefully. It's gonna take a lot of work to figure out how to, there are two major things that I've basically got to completely fold in on themselves or scrap, or I don't know. So anyways, we'll see about that. But anyways, that's it for this video. I guess I should explain what my next step is after I finish this new draft to implement all of her notes. Then I send it to her and go back to the waiting game as far as when she gets a chance to get back to me, because she's got plenty of other clients. And then at that point, she does another read through of this version that I've sent her, and then it's a lot of other tiny little notes about the sentence is still awkward, the sentence doesn't work, let's move this here, all those tiny little polishing things. Then it's, the big picture stuff's gone, then it's just about polishing it and getting it sounding just right to then be able to send out to the editors, acquiring editors. But anyways, we'll get to that in the video when that happens. So anyways, that's it for this update. See you guys in the next one. Bye guys.